In this video, I'm going to be teaching how to sew this transparent corset with this draped rose cap. I already have the pattern video on my channel, so this is a sewing video. Let's get started. So first thing I'll be doing is to pin down my patterns onto my organza fabric. And then I'm going to be adding seam allowance to the cap area and then to the lower part, since I didn't add seam allowance to the pattern, but then for the side I've already added seam allowance to it. So after drawing in or adding my seam allowance, I'll go ahead and then join it together or cut out. So I used less than 1 yard for this tutorial, so you can use 1 yard for it. And then I'm going to be doubling the organza. The organza fabric should be doubled so that it doesn't tear or become lighter. So after cutting out, this is what I have for both front and then back corsets. So I went ahead to cut out the caps as well, which I've already added half-inch seam allowance all round, as you can see. And then I'll be taking off the pins from the pattern paper together with the organza and then show you what to do next. So I'm going to be laying these two together, and then I'm going to be joining the sides. You can actually fuse this together with a hermit, but then I prefer to join the sides by stitching. So I'm going to be stitching about 1/4 all round just to secure the two or hold the two pieces together. Next thing I'll be doing is to cut out the cap using this bra foam. This is what I'm going to be using, and then you're going to be cutting out the same shape, 2 for each. So this is what I have after cutting out, and then I'm going to be fusing it together with my satin. I used Paradise for the cap, and then the lining of the cap I used Paradise before using the bra foam. So I'll be fusing the satin fabric to the bra foam using a hermit. So after placing it on, I'll just press it down this way. Make sure it is well secured or attached to each other before you move to the next one. So after fusing, I had excess at the sides, and then I'm trimming them off at this point. I'll be cutting out on both sides of the cap, and then I'll join the sides together just like I'm doing, and then take it to my machine and join them together. So I always pin before I stitch so that I don't make mistakes. So after stitching the cap, next thing I'll be doing is to press the body of the corset this way, and then I'll fold it into 2. At this stage, I'm coming to create, or I'm about to create, my boning channel. So just fold it into 2 like this, and then press the center, and then after pressing the center, this is what I have. Next thing I'll be doing is to fold it into 2 again. You're folding it on again with any interval you want. So however you want your intervals to be, whether 1 inch, 2 inches, however you want to, just fold it on and then press. Do it this way till you get to the end, or till you get the number of boning channels you want. So I'll be folding it on again and then press. So after pressing, when you open this up, you automatically have your channels, and then you know where exactly you are placing your bone. I didn't use the channel on the pattern paper, but then you can use that method or you can use this method as well. So the distance between this is 1.5 inches. So this is what I have, and the lines in between is what I'm going to be using to create my channel. So I'll be using this bias tape for creation of the channel, the boning channel. So first thing I'm going to be doing is to place it on top just like this. Make sure the edge is meeting the center line and then stitch that part. So after stitching, this is what I have. Next thing I'll be doing is to flip it on top of it this way and then stitch again. So I'm going to be stitching that part, and then after stitching I went ahead to stitch the other side as well. So with that side you are just top stitching. I'm going to be demonstrating again so that you see what I did. So whichever part you want, just make sure the edge is meeting the center line just like this, and then you are going to stitch at that folded part. So wherever the folded part ends, that is where you are going to stitch. And then after stitching, next thing I'm going to do is to place it on top this way and then stitch again. So after stitching, this is what I have, and then I'll be top stitching that part as well so that I get 2 seam lines like the first one. So after stitching, I went ahead to stitch on all my boning channels, and then this is the outcome. So you can actually slant the channels and then create your channels however you want it to be. It depends on you. You can use what we have on the pattern paper. It all depends on you. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to work on the back, and then from the center back I'm going to be coming in by 3 inches. But then after sewing, I realized that 3 inches is too big, so I advise you to cut off only 2 inches from that part. So after cutting, I'm going to fold it into 2 at the waist part. Make sure the waist, or you are folding it to the waist. From that part, let it end on the waist, the length for the waist, and then press it. So after pressing, I'm going to be creating another channel over there, and then this is what I have. So that 3 inches I trimmed off, I went ahead to cut it on my paradise fabric, and this is what I have. Note this is on fold. So you are going to cut 7 inches, fold ½ inch in on both sides, so that when you fold it into 2, you have your 3 inches on both sides. So this is what I have. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to open up the seam of it at that side and then join it to the organza fabric. So after joining, this is what I have. Next thing I'll be doing is to flip it on and then stitch. Like I said earlier, that part should be about 2 inches instead of 3, because after stitching, the 3 inches looks way bigger. So after stitching, I'm going to be trimming off the excess from it and then show you what to do next. I'll be creating another channel at that side, and then this is it. One at the edge and then one at the beginning of the paradise or the satin fabric. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to pipe the upper part of the corset. So I'll be using my bias tape to pipe all the raw edges, and then this is what I have. Next, I'm going to be joining the sides together. If you don't know how to pipe, I have a tutorials on my channel. You can check it out. So next thing I'm going to be doing is to cut out the draped rose cap. So I folded my fabric into two like this, making sure you have this V shape. It should be V so that you can get your rose shape, or the shape of the rose can come out nicely. So I'm going to be stitching that edge, but then let me use this to demonstrate. Let's assume this fabric is 4 square. Just fold it into two like this, and then you are going to determine how long you want it to be. Since you are going to drape it, after you cut out, you can decide how long you want it to be. This part is about 16.5 or 17, and then this part is about 19 inches, and then the other part is about 14 inches. So it depends on you or the fabric you have. You just go ahead and then cut out. You can always trim off when you are done. So I'm done stitching my cap already, and then I'll go ahead and then trim off the excess before I drape the rose cap on top of it. So this is what I have, and then I'm going to pick up this, and then this is how I'm going to do it. Whilst you're opening it up, be folding it in like this. Just watch how my hands are behaving. So before you open it, you already have that shape of the rose. So let me demonstrate it again for you to see. So you're opening it up this way, making sure you're folding it in. You do this a number of times before you get it right. So be patient with yourself and then do it. So after opening it up, this is what I have, and then I'm going to pin it onto the cap. So I'm going to pin this onto the cap, and then take your time when you are pinning so that you don't destroy the shape you have. Pin as much as you can just to keep the shape. Pin as much as you can. You can see I'm doing a lot of pinning here, and then after pinning, this is what I have. Next thing I'll be doing is to stitch. You stitch by tacking them together. So whilst you are tacking, make sure the stitches are not showing at the front part. So however you hide it, make sure you stitch it so that you hide the seams. So after stitching, this is what I have. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to trim off the excess fabric from it. So you can see the stitch part is showing at the wrong side of the cap. So next thing I'll be doing is to trim it off like I said, and then show you what to do next. So after trimming it up, I'm going to pick up the lining of the the lining of the cap, and then I'm going to make sure the seam lines are meeting, and then pin the upper part. I'm going to be pinning the upper parts together, and then take it to my machine and stitch. Then because this is draped, take your time and then pin after pinning. Make sure everything is intact before you stitch. So take your time and then pin it down. So like I said, I'm going to stitch that upper part and then show you what I have. So after stitching, this is what I have, and then I'll trim off the excess foam at the upper part before turning it in. So turn it in by pinning, then press it down before you pin, and then so you are pressing just the upper part before you pin, and then after that I'm going to be pinning every part. You are pinning every part. Make sure you are pressing the lining in to get rid of any folded parts of the lining before you stitch. So take your time and then pin it down. and then after pinning, I'm going to be stitching that part down. After stitching, this is what I have. Next, I'm going to be trimming off every excess fabric from that part, or every excess fabric from the cap. So this is what I have after everything. Next, I'm going to be fixing it to the corset. So I'll be pinning the sides together and then pin the center before pinning any other parts, and then take it to my machine and stitch. Take your time when you are pinning the middle part so that it doesn't fold or it doesn't overlap when you are stitching. So I'm going to be stitching that part down and then show you what to do next. So after stitching, this is what I have. You can see the corset is taking shape. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to trim off any excess from that part before I pipe that area as well. So I'm trimming off both the foam and then the lining, leaving about a 1/4 inch before I pipe or finish the raw edges. So I'm going to be using this bias tape and then fold the upper parts just like I did, and then stitch it all around. After stitching it all around, next thing I'm going to be doing is to fold this or flip it on to hide the seams, and then I'm going to stitch that area as well. So just fold it on this way, and then you are going to stitch it down. So this is what I have after stitching it down. You can see I'm done finishing the inner part. And then for the side of the corset, you can pipe that part as well. You can use your bias tape to finish the sides as well. So this is what I have at the moment. As you can see, it is taking shape, and then the next thing I'll be doing is to insert my bone. So fix your bone in every channel, and then after that I'm going to finish the lower part by piping. So just fold it the wrong side on it like this, like I have done. Fold it like this so that it doesn't move or come off before you stitch. So after stitching that part, next thing I'm going to be doing is to open it up this way, and then I'm going to fold it in again like this. So after folding it, I'll go ahead and then pin it down before I stitch that part. So I went ahead to stitch it, and then this is what I have. You can see the finishing looks very neat. So do it this way to get a nice finish. So next thing I'm going to be doing is to create the spacing of my eyelet. So however you want yours to be, you go ahead and then do it, and then fix your eyelet. So this is the end of the tutorials. If you don't know how to fix an eyelet, I have the tutorials on my channel. You can check it out. So thanks for watching. See you another time. Bye.